You make $75,000 a year. You've got a decent car in the driveway. You live in a nice neighborhood. Your kids go to good schools. You take one vacation a year, maybe two if you're doing well. You've got a 401k that you contribute to because HR told you to. On paper, you're winning. But here's what nobody tells you. You're one medical emergency, one layoff, one transmission failure away from complete financial collapse. And the worst part, you don't even see it coming because you look successful. That's exactly where the system wants you. Hey, I'm the Bald G, and here's the thing. The system didn't fail you. It trained you. Trained you to chase a lifestyle that looks like wealth but feels like a treadmill you can never get off. Trained you to be predictable, tired, and broke without even realizing it. Look, I spend way too much time thinking about why the middle class is financially suffocating, because the system hopes you never do. And if you're someone who's sick of being confused, overwhelmed, or just stuck in the same money loop where you make more but somehow have less, make sure to watch this video till the end, and give this video a thumbs up if it helps you out. All right, let's break the system. Let me tell you something. The middle class isn't a destination. It's a holding cell. And I know what you're thinking. Come on, man. I worked hard to get here. I'm not broke. I'm doing fine. Are you, though? Let's check. You make $75,000 a year. After taxes, federal, state, FICA, all that fun stuff, you're taking home about $54,000. That's $4,500 a month. Sounds decent, right? Now let's do the math the system hopes you never do. Mortgage or rent, $1,800. Car payment, because of course, $450. Car insurance, $150. Health insurance, $350. Utilities, $200. Groceries, $600. Gas, $200. Student loans, $300. Daycare or school expenses, $400. Phone, internet subscriptions, $150. That's $4,600 a month. You're already $100 in the hole before we even talk about eating out, clothes, emergency expenses, or, God forbid, actually enjoying your life. Think about that. So what do? You throw it on the credit card, and boom, now you're paying 22% interest on groceries you ate 3 months ago. Here's where it gets really interesting. According to a 2023 report from the Federal Reserve, 40% of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency expense without borrowing money or selling something. 40%. That includes a massive chunk of people who would proudly call themselves middle class. Let that sink in. Here's what most people don't realize. The middle class isn't a wealth bracket. It's a lifestyle bracket. And that lifestyle is designed to keep you running in place forever. The system loves you right here. Comfortable enough not to riot, stressed enough not to build wealth, predictable enough to keep spending. Most people never see it. You might be one of them.
Now you might be thinking, okay, but if I just make more money, I'll be fine, right? I'll get that promotion, that raise, and everything will smooth out. Wrong. This is the part nobody warns you about. Let me introduce you to your worst enemy, lifestyle creep, and it's brutal. Here's how it works. You get a $10,000 raise. You're pumped. You're finally getting ahead. But then your brain does something sneaky. It says, you know what? I deserve a nicer car. I work hard. I've earned it. So you trade in your $25,000 sedan for a $40,000 SUV. Your payment goes from $350 a month to $650. Boom, there goes $3,600 of that raise. Then you think, you know, we've been in this apartment for a while. Let's upgrade. So you move into a nicer place. Rent goes up $400 a month. There's another $4,800 of your raise. Oh, and now you're in a nicer neighborhood, so your kids need to keep up. Better clothes, better activities, more social pressure. Add another $200 a month. Congratulations, you just made $10,000 more, and you're somehow more broke than you were before. Most people miss this completely. This is exactly how the system keeps you trapped. You make more, you spend more. The gap never closes. You just upgrade your stress. And here's the kicker. The system celebrates this. You get congratulated for the new car. People compliment the new house. You post the vacation photos. Everyone thinks you're winning, but your bank account knows the truth. A study from the Bureau of Labor Statistics found that households earning $100,000 a year only save about 2 to 4% more than households earning $50,000. Why? Because lifestyle creep eats the difference every single time. Look, this isn't about being cheap. It's about realizing that the system has convinced you that spending is success, that looking rich is the same as being rich. And it's a lie designed to keep you working until you're 67 with nothing to show for it but a decent credit score and a bunch of stuff you don't even use anymore. Most people never see it. You might be one of them. Let's talk about retirement. This is where the middle-class story completely falls apart, and most people don't realize it until it's too late. You've been told your whole life, just contribute to your 401k. The company matches. It's free money. You'll be fine. So you do it. You put in 6%, your company matches 3%. You're contributing $4,500 a year, they're adding $2,250. That's $6,750 going into your retirement. You feel responsible. You feel like you're doing the right thing. Here's the problem. You're 35 years old. You've got about $40,000 saved. You're planning to retire at 65. That's 30 years of saving. Let's say your investments average 7% annual returns, which is optimistic, by the way. At that rate, with $6,750 going in every year, you'll have about $680,000 by the time you retire. Sounds like a lot, right? Here's what most people don't realize. At a 4% withdrawal rate, which is what financial advisors recommend so you don't run out of money, you can pull out $27,200 a year. That's $2,266 a month. You're currently spending $4,600 a month. So unless you plan to cut your lifestyle in half the moment you retire, you're screwed. Think about that. Oh, and by the way, that $680,000, inflation's going to destroy it. At 3% inflation over 30 years, a dollar today will be worth about 40 cents in retirement. So that $680,000 in future dollars is really only worth $272,000 in today's money. Let me say that again. You're working for 30 years, contributing every year, doing what the system told you to do, and you're retiring broke. This is where it gets really interesting. According to the National Institute on Retirement Security, the median retirement account balance for Americans aged 55 to 64 is $120,000. That's it. That's not enough to last 5 years, let alone 20 or 30. The middle-class retirement plan isn't a plan, it's a prayer. And the system loves it because by the time you figure out it's not working, you're 60 years old with no time left to fix it. But hey, at least you looked successful for 30 years, right? Now, you might be thinking, okay, this is depressing. What's the point? The point is this. The trap isn't just financial. It's psychological. And this is the part most people never figure out. The middle class is obsessed with looking wealthy instead of being wealthy. And the system has trained you to confuse the two. You drive a nice car because you want people to think you're successful. You live in a nice house because you want your neighbors to think you've made it. You take vacations and post them on Instagram because you want everyone to know you're doing well. But none of that is wealth. That's performance, and performance is exhausting. Real wealth is invisible. It's the money you didn't spend. It's the investments you made instead of buying the nicer car. It's the freedom you built while everyone else was upgrading their lifestyle. Here's a stat that'll blow your mind. According to The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley, most millionaires drive cars that are at least 3 years old. They live in middle-class neighborhoods. They don't wear designer clothes. You'd walk past them at the grocery store and never know they had money. Why? Because they spent decades doing the opposite of what the system told them to do. They saved aggressively. They invested consistently. They avoided lifestyle creep like the plague. Meanwhile, the guy with the $80,000 Mercedes and the designer watch, he's drowning in debt, stressed out of his mind, and one bad quarter away from losing it all. Let that sink in. The middle class has been brainwashed into thinking that spending is the goal, that the person with the nicest stuff is winning,
But that's the exact opposite of how wealth works. The system benefits when you're focused on looking rich instead of building wealth. Because as long as you're spending everything you make, you'll never have the time, the freedom, or the leverage to escape. Most people figure this out at 55. Don't be most people. Let's talk about one of the biggest middle-class lies of all time: college. You were told that if you go to college, get a degree, and get a good job, you'll be set for life. The middle-class dream, right? So you did it. You went to a decent school. You took on $50,000 in student loans because it's an investment in yourself. You graduated, you got the job. You're making $60,000 a year. Congratulations, you're now paying $500 a month in student loans for the next 10 years. That's $60,000 in total payments on a $50,000 loan, by the way, because interest is a beautiful thing. Here's what nobody told you. That degree didn't make you rich. It made you employable. There's a difference. You traded 4 years and $50,000 for the privilege of working 40-plus hours a week for someone else. You're not building equity. You're not building assets. You're trading time for money, and the degree just made you qualified to trade more time for slightly more money. Think about that. The system loves this because now you're locked in. You've got debt, you've got monthly payments, you need that job. You can't take risks. You can't start a business. You can't walk away. And here's the kicker. The data backs this up. According to the Federal Reserve, Americans owe over $1.7 trillion in student loan debt. The average borrower takes 20 years to pay it off. 20 years of payments. 20 years of financial handcuffs. Meanwhile, the plumber who skipped college and started his own business at 22, he's pulling in $100,000 a year by 30 with no debt and full control of his time. But the system doesn't celebrate that guy. The system celebrates you, the person with the degree, the job, the predictable income, and the debt that keeps you running in place forever. Look, I'm not saying college is bad. I'm saying the middle-class obsession with college as the only path is a trap. And it's a trap that leaves millions of people financially crippled before they even start building wealth. All right, enough doom and gloom. Let's talk about how you actually escape this thing. Because here's the truth. You're not stuck. You just think you are. And that's exactly what the system wants you to believe. Step 1. Stop performing wealth. Start building it. Cut the lifestyle. Stop trying to impress people who don't care about you. Drive the boring car. Live in the smaller house. Stop upgrading everything the second you get a raise. Take that $10,000 raise and invest it. All of it. Don't touch your lifestyle. Just funnel every extra dollar into assets that grow. Most people can't do this. Prove you're different. Step 2. Obsess over your savings rate. Your savings rate is the only number that matters. Not your income, not your net worth, your savings rate. If you make $75,000 and save $15,000, you've got a 20% savings rate. That means you're living on 80% of your income. Do that for 15-20 years and you're financially free. Most middle-class people save 5% or less. That's why they're trapped. You can't escape on 5%. You need 20%, 30%, 40% if you're serious. Step 3. Build income streams that don't require your time. The middle class trades time for money. The wealthy build systems that generate money while they sleep. Start a side business. Invest in dividend-paying stocks. Buy rental properties. Build something, anything that pays you without requiring your direct labor. This is how you escape, not by working harder at your job, by building leverage outside of it. Step 4. Educate yourself relentlessly. The system doesn't want you to understand money. It wants you confused, overwhelmed, and dependent on experts who profit from your ignorance. Read books, watch videos, learn how taxes work, learn how investing works, learn how businesses work. The more you know, the harder you are to trap. Step 5. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Escaping the middle class means doing things that feel weird. It means saying no to social pressure. It means living below your means when everyone around you is upgrading. It means being the person who drives the 10-year-old car while your coworkers are leasing BMWs. It means skipping the expensive dinners and vacations for a few years so you can invest aggressively. It's uncomfortable, but you know what's more uncomfortable? Being 65 years old, broke, and realizing you spent your entire life working for nothing. Look, here's the thing. The middle class isn't evil. The lifestyle isn't evil. The trap is. The system has convinced millions of people that looking successful is the same as being successful, that spending is winning, that working hard at a job is the only path, and it's a lie. The middle class is designed to keep you comfortable enough not to rebel, but stressed enough not to escape. It's designed to keep you predictable, tired, and dependent. But you don't have to stay there. You can choose differently. You can save aggressively. You can invest intelligently. You can build leverage. You can escape. But it starts with seeing the trap for what it is. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep performing, keep upgrading, keep spending everything you make so you can look like you're winning? Or are you going to stop playing the system's game and start building real wealth? The system is betting you'll stay exactly where you are. Most people do. If you don't, you already know what to do. If this video helped you see the middle class trap for what it is, smash that like button and subscribe. And drop a comment below. What's one middle class habit you're breaking this year? Now get out there and stop being predictable.